So in this video, I'm going to be installing the Coleman Mock Soft Start. So inside the box, you have a backing plate, you have the actual soft start unit itself in a little bag, everything's all bundled up, the wires are nicely taken care of and ready for us. You have your hardware kit, it has all the hardware that you need. It has zip ties, it has a new water block, and it has a twist nut for the wires, I might change that, and some instructions. So first step, let's get this adhered to the mounting plate. So you got adhesive on the back of this. You're going to line up the holes. I'm going to do this off the van. I'm going to try to do as much off the roof of the van as I can, although I will try and use ladders. So this mounting plate orientation is going to sit like this on the side and the back. You'll see in just a minute. So you're going to line up the 4 holes with the other holes on the mock start unit, soft start unit. And then once you have them all lined up, you're going to press it and adhere it. And then it does include some screws. That's kind of confusing, but these screws, you want to use the short ones. They barely fit. There's also longer screws in there that we don't need for this one, but what you have to do because of that adhesive, it kind of makes it a little bit thicker. Have something kind of solid but kind of soft on the backside. And you're going to have to put some force into it because you're trying to compress the adhesive to actually get it to bite into the aluminum. Doesn't have to twist a whole lot, just a small amount. That's all you need. But yeah, so use the shorter screws, and then we can get it mounted on top of the roof. And then like I said, I'm going to take care of most things on the ground, so I'm going to unbundle the wires now. In the instructions, they tell you to unbundle the wires after you mount it, but I don't see why you necessarily need to wait, so we'll unbundle them down here. Now before getting started, if you're wondering if this will be compatible with your unit, you can find your model number on the inside behind the filters on the interior unit, on the interior housing. While you take these filters out, this is a good time just to clean them. They're reusable filters that you just wash, so I took mine out, washed them. Mine weren't super dirty, but they did have kind of that feathery, like weed seeds floating in the air in the spring and the fall that you see. They're kind of stuck in it, so get those rinsed out and then let them just air dry. I let mine sit for a couple days, but really they were probably dry within 6 hours or so. And then when you go to put these back in the van, it's not too complicated, but it's easier if you just slide them through. There's only 2 notches that hold it. So I just kind of hold it how it's going to be oriented, and then I just slide it from the front to the back. I found that easier than trying to bend them in order to get around those clips. And then there's those vent covers, or the filter covers, they just snap up into place. Now, I'm going to try and work on a ladder for this, because I really don't want to get on the roof of the van. The Ford Transit roof is very thin, so I don't really want to get up there. So I'm going to try to work on the side. And it's not too hard. So this is where the module unit is going to mount. You see the top and the bottom screw right there are going to mount into that plate. And I'm just working from the side of the van. This actually isn't a very hard reach. Make sure you don't put your ladder against your awning. You don't want to do that. That could potentially damage your awning. So just 2 screws. You just take out the 2 screws that were there, put this up, and then put the 2 screws back in. Nice and easy. And then pass the wires underneath the motor, and then we'll grab them from the other side. Now looking at the other side, you got 3 screws. You're going to take out the 2 bottom ones, but just loosen the top one. This is another place you can find your model number if you were looking for it. So my model number is the 48200XX. It's the easiest one to work on. So this is the diagram. All you gotta do is just follow the colors and do what you, figure out what you need to do. We're only gonna mess with the run capacitor, and we need the wires coming from the compressor. The compressor is still on the outside. So I sped this up for time, but you're gonna pass the wires through, remove the water block. I'm glad they gave me a new one because mine's pretty brittle. Pass the wires through the grommet that water block was covering, one at a time. And then just get everything kind of situated where we're going to work. Get it all nice and flush so nothing's going to snag anything. Now, like I said, we're only going to be working on the run capacitor. We're not going to have to work with those brown wires at all. So kind of just untangling stuff a little bit so I have room to work. We're going to start with the white wire going on the top of the run capacitor. You're going to need some needle nose pliers for this one. I can't really get my hand in there to pull this out. You're just going to pull it straight up. We'll cut off that little clip that's on it, and then we'll strip the wire and we'll attach it to the white wire of the soft start. So we're just going to twist these two wires together. Now I'm not going to use their twist caps. Instead, I'm going to use a crimp cap because I think the crimp cap will hold up. Crimp cap will hold up better than a twist cap, which is with vibrations. You can see there to use crimp caps in here anyway. So just crimp those together, nice and secure feeling, gave it a tug, didn't fall apart. I'll still add tape to it though. It's just the way I do it. I don't know. Now looking at that run capacitor, you see our red and our yellow. You're going to take the red and yellow that are on the starter and you're going to put them on the run capacitor like opposing the other color. So on the red side, there's two places you can plug into. So we'll plug this red one across from the other red one. And then back in the back across from the yellow, there's another empty one where the white wire was actually. And we'll plug the yellow wire next to the other yellow wire. So that step was really easy. No cutting. Nice and secure fit. You can see red to red, yellow to yellow. That was it. Last step, you just find your black and purple wire. If you want to trace it, you can trace your black wire. It goes up through the grommet, and then it goes through the compressor on the outside. But we're going to cut these ones apart, and then we're going to twist them all together with the other black wire of the soft start box. And we'll have to cut the connector off the black wire for this too. Strip it and put all three wires together, and then once again I'll crimp cap these rather than do a twist cap. I'll leave links to all the tools that I used at the end, in the description, what I ordered. I came inside, I turned it on, make sure everything ran before I buttoned it all back up. I didn't want to button it up and then nothing goes. I did notice the fan was quieter when it started, which is kind of a perk to using a soft start. It hasn't kicked the compressor on, so I was getting a little worried that I maybe messed something up. I checked the amps. The amp draws less than 15. So I'm like, the compressor's probably not working because this really isn't intended to drop the overall amps that it uses when it's running, but it will smooth out the start and the stop. So you can use a smaller generator potentially with this and not trip the breakers. So the compressor flipped over. Now I'm running about 55, which actually is less than the normal amps when it's running. Usually it runs about 65-ish. So I never really saw it go above 57, so maybe it did drop my amps just a little bit. Like I said, I was going to bundle these up and put electrical tape on them, just the way I do it. I don't know. I'm going to use the new water block they sent me since mine was so brittle to get it all wrapped up. So some people think the soft starts are meant to use less energy, and they do use a little bit less because the start will use less energy. It's going to smooth out the start. There's not going to be a big spike at the beginning. But overall, the air conditioner will still use about the same when it's running, but mine was using like a little bit less. I wanted to clear up that misconception. People think soft starts will decrease your power use overall significantly, and it's not very significant. This is more for saving your system, saving your batteries, using a smaller generator and not like tripping breakers. Also makes it quieter when it turns over, like when it starts and stops at night. You don't have that big surge and hit when the compressor powers on. Getting these screws tightened back up. This is also where you can find your model number. If you didn't want to look on the inside, you could come up here and look on the outside. So this was pretty easy. This doesn't void your warranty, which is kind of nice. It should actually prolong the life of the air conditioner because now it doesn't have to run. It doesn't have that hard start every time. The hardest part of this was taking this cover off and putting this cover on. Since I didn't get on the roof to do this, I did it from the side. It was like a little complicated. I just took my time. All of this was sped up, so I was going on down a lot slower than this, but I just took my time putting this on and taking it off. Just make sure I didn't damage anything. You can hear it running. I think it's quieter. Even when it's running, the compressor is running right now, you can kind of hear that other sound going on in the background with the air conditioner hum. Tighten all your screws. You don't need this flying off when you're driving down the road. Mine was 2 screws on the top, and then mine was 2 screws in the back. So don't forget to tighten all of those down. Overall, this was pretty easy. It wasn't too hard working from a ladder. I need to put a deck up here, I think, but yeah, it wasn't too hard. Now in the next video, I got this little Starlink power adapter, so I can connect this to 12 volt. The Starlink can run on 12 volt, but it seems like from what I'm reading, it actually likes to be anywhere between 12 to 48, so this is like an up converter to kind of step it up to like 30-ish volts. So we'll see if I can use the Winegard attachment. So that's it for this video. Like and subscribe for more content, and thanks for watching.